All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. My name is Darkpool Algo, and thanks for joining me on this morning watch list building session. Today is Thursday, September 2nd, 2021, and it's going to be an amazing day. Yes, regardless of what happens in the stock market, today's going to be an amazing day. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for joining my channel, tuning in. We're going to give it a second or so just to make sure that people that want to join can get signed in, and I'm going to go ahead and get the chat going. And if you're already here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave me a comment in the comment section below. Actually, hit me up on the chat for any requests that you may have. Very important that we start sourcing that information as a community and as a whole. Obviously, you may see something that I don't see. I can't see everything. So the more plays that we can find together, the easier it is for us to make some money in this. Okay. We have chat going. Let me just double check that it is working. And I feel like I should just move all of my stuff like up here, so I'm never looking away from the camera, right? Yeah, unfortunately, that's not a possibility. I've got too many monitors up there already. So, let's see. Morning chat. All right. Where are we at? I need this page here. Got to pull up the old control room just to make sure the stream is good. All right. If you are new to the stream, we're going to use the Smart Money Dark Pool and Block Trade algorithm software. It's provided by those traders over at FlowTrade. What it does is it allows us to track large institutional hedge fund money, right? It lets us see what's happening in the market before price action reacts. So typically what will happen is market makers and large hedge funds, they'll be purchasing prior to the market reacting. There's a whole process behind it. If you've ever watched Billions, you might understand. Let's just say I wanted to drop, I wanted to sell all of my millions of shares of Tesla, right? If I just dropped that order, it would cause the stock to rally, actually, because there would be all those shares would be coming onto the market. So, or it would cause it to drop. But basically, they have to slowly build into a position and build out of a position. So let's say I wanted to buy 500 million shares of NEO, right? If I drop that order, it would artificially shoot the price up. Price going up, investors would start taking profits, which would drop the price. So it would actually do the opposite of what I was looking to do. So morning, what is up? Oh, Lazario called me sunshine. No, I'm just kidding. All right. If you're new to the stream, what you see in front of you is the Smart Money Dark Pool and Block Trade algorithm software. It's real quick overview. The white price action lines are obviously price action bars. The purple line that you see will be the regular algorithm. If I draw any blue lines on there, those are dark pool trades. Red lines indicate regular block trades, and I feel like my hat's on crooked. And oh, it's my chair. And if you see me draw a white line, Lazario would laugh. No, that's an inside joke. Basically, what happens is there's a dark pool and a regular block trade that print so close to each other that I can't segment them out on the chart. So I'll just draw a white line to say, hey, this is a pretty significant area of interest. Price action does react with the block trade levels. They act kind of like support and resistance pivot points, if you may. Price action will definitely interact with those. The algorithm also interacts with both block levels. So a lot of times you'll see the algo resting right on a block level, and I'll be like, hey, that needs to do something before we consider taking it one direction or the other. So that being said, check in the chat. We don't have any requests. Oh, Workday. Okay, we'll check out Workday. The other thing I needed to do that I haven't done yet is pull up the old FinTwit. We'll see what's going on there. Wait for this thing to reload. I have a problem with not having enough processing. I don't know. There's something going on. I've got like 1 gig down on internet. I don't know if it's just maxing my stuff out. Okay. Come on, load up. All right, well, while we're waiting for that, let's check out the news. All right, so in DOS news, we had... All right, so important news. Ireland hit Facebook with a $266 million fine. That's not going to be good for Facebook. Baba is investing $1 billion yuan, whatever, $1 billion, the Chinese equivalent of $1 billion, by 2025 into community prosperity. Baba's already ripping off of that, so keep that in mind. There was some news about Pfizer and BNTX. They're going to be reviewed. That's not so good. Space. Space slips after the FAA hit them with an investigation because their rocket went off path. Like, it decided to go do its own thing for about a minute and a half. Yeah, that really pisses off the FAA. All right, DraftKings is launching another sports betting in Wyoming. Bullish on DraftKings, as always. Chewy, looking for the dead cat bounce, fell 10% after earnings. ChargePoint, which changed their name on me, and I didn't realize who it was before I got into the Iron Condor last night. I'm super bullish on ChargePoint for the long term. They had good earnings. They adjusted their guidance, so expect them to rip after some profit taking at the open. Okay. Tesla. Tesla got delayed. September 25th, self-driving beta public release. I also saw something where Tesla... couple things. Tesla, the production is going to be delayed. And I also saw something for Nikola. They partnered with Bosch. So what Nikola is doing is they're trying to get rid of all that bad press from their super scammy CEO that they got rid of, right? So they're trying to partner with, blue chip, like long-term, publicly trusted entities. So Bosch is obviously one of them. So they partnered with Bosch to do coast-to-coast distribution, I believe. Okay, so Nikola is going to run. Just be careful. It is technically a penny stock, in my opinion, right? Looking at the calendar for today, we've got jobless claims that are out. We'll have to check and see what those are. There will be a lot of market reaction based on those jobless claims. Let me move some of my stuff around here and see if... yeah, ES is ripping. So they must have came out good. ES and NQ are both ripping. Look for... hopefully they don't gap, because I'd hate to have a gap and crap at the open. Okay. Stocks are trading higher as we await jobless claims. We went over that. All right, Asian markets. The Nikkei index rose 92 points. Shanghai climbed 28. Hang Seng advanced. So the Asian market was up. European markets flat. Right. Bitcoin moved above 50K. That's good. Right. So I think it's going to plateau at 50K for a while. And then probably about the time the market tanks, Bitcoin's going to make a run to all-time highs. Okay. All right, that's it for news. We are done with the news. Let's go ahead and go back and check on the old chart pieces. Hopefully it's loaded by now. All right, there we go. Okay, if you've got requests, get them into me now. Let's look at Workday, Zoom, RTX. Yes, we'll check out RTX. These are all good ones. All right, so we had a request for Workday, which is XOM. Oh, so XOM. Crude, OPEC met, agreed to not change their plan. They're going to continue to limit the amount of barrels pushed per day. I forgot about that one. I apologize. RTX. Okay. There's some ones that I also want to look at that have got a massive short interest. CLDX is one. GSL and PDSB. All right, looking at Workday. The algorithm, let's see. So gap up. A gap's going to have to be filled at one point. Algo is trading with price action up until yesterday, where some bearish divergence occurred. I don't... as far as block trades going back the last 10 days, we've got A dark pull at 272.50. That's, oh, I love it when they do prints at round numbers. That means that the stock is computer traded, so it's pretty easy to predict. All right, 272.50 is the dark pull level. That is support. We have a regular block trade level at 265. Obviously, that is lower end support. Break at 265. I feel like we come and fill this gap. It's a pretty massive gap there that's going to have to be filled at some point. However, do not buck the trend. The trend is your friend until it's not. The trend is overall bullish, right? The algo is overall bullish. Looking at maybe potential, the algo can move in channels. So, right, I'm looking for a bounce of the algo here at that lower end of that channel, forming a cup and handle, continuing to push price upwards. As far as price action is concerned, looks like we're maintaining kind of a rising, right? Kind of a rising. Is it a? It'll either be a channel or a wedge. I'll have to pull it up on the chart here in a second, and we'll let you know. That's the wrong one. Baba ripping overnight. Closed at 173, hit 180. That's bullish for Baba. Baba is making that parabolic move. I went over it in the video last night. Don't sleep on Baba. It's $1 billion company that's currently valued at half of what it was a couple months ago. Yeah, that's not going to last. Yeah, you can't do that to. It's like saying Amazon's going to stay at a 50% drop. No, not going to happen. Okay, workday. Looking at, it's kind of a parabolic-esque feel. I don't like. All right, so this is a. Ooh, I think it's called a rising pennant, right? But basically what we have is we've got separate from, like, so this is a rising pennant. I didn't draw it out far enough. It's different than a bull flag. A bull flag, all right, we're doing good on time. Let me just screenshot this so I can show you what's going on. Move my drink over to the side and knock it over one day. All right, so with the bull flag, you have this basically. All right, that's a bull flag. Price action will squeeze into there and pop out, right? Usually to the upside. The rising pennant is my drawing skills aren't the greatest, but the rising pennant is, I consider it a bearish pattern where price action is getting squeezed, it's getting forced to the upside and has a tendency to pull back. Does that make sense? So this is like, it's got a little bit more room, but it's really being squeezed. It's, you know, it's trading. So here is the mean. This is negative, or that's positive 3 ATR, right? This is, you know, that's kind of a big move for workday. So not saying that it can't continue to move up. I'm just saying that it's really far extended from its normal. Normally it just changes, you know, it just range trades from 2 to 2 ATR back and forth, right? So just keep an eye on it. I just believe it's due for a pullback. Looks like it's kind of triple topped a little bit. So rising 200 SMA on the 15-minute charts coming in at 265-ish. Look for that as support. I think that lines up with that block trade, right? Imagine that. Looky there. All right, so maybe a pullback to that 200 SMA. We were just in a massive squeeze, right? Computers and market makers can't account for the squeeze, so that's a positive. MACD is squeezing as well. Looks like we had a squeeze, like a TTM squeeze release on the 26th. We can look for about 8 to 10 periods of that squeeze playing out. So we're into it 5, so maybe another couple days. That would coincide with this MACD curling around and continuing to begin becoming more neutral, decreasing. Right. As far as targets go, if we can get above previous highs at 276. We can take out 276. I believe 282s on the, we can get to 282, right? So we're looking to get basically above that level. So what I'll do is I'll create an alert saying we break through it or touch it or bounce. Turn the sensitivity down a little bit on it, right? Within the next 3 days, you can trigger up to 4 times, and we'll call it W day rip. All right, so that was work day. Okay, so I just spent a good couple minutes on the first stock. Hopefully everybody knows the system and how I'm going to review these next couple ones, because I'm going to start to move through them pretty quickly. Yeah, I just need to move through those pretty quickly. All right, so moving over to Zoom, XOM. Lots of block trades over the last 11 days. That's pretty indicative of anything in the oil industry, or that's being managed by large institutions. So as far as the algo is concerned, the algo's been net buying, right? It's been gradually buying since the 19th, right? So it's in an overall uptrend, right? We just talked about channels, so it's possibly just trading within this channel, right? Currently trading with price action. All previous divergences look to have been played out. I'd like the algo to break above price action and really just pull it up. We do, however, have support and resistance of this dark pool level right here that came in yesterday at 53.83. We have another dark pool level target, 56.08. So if we play the dark pool range, obviously back testing 53.83 for support, it would be a good idea. We have this little cluster of regular block trades right around the 55.50 level, right? I think that's going to be an important level there. Nice round psychological number. And then about every 20 cents, there's a regular block trade. So it may stair step on its way up, right? That's a previous low. That's going to be important. I believe this one here is probably going to be important as well. Previous low acted as resistance support. See how price interacts with block trades. Price comes up, resistance, breaks through it, right? Comes back, uses it as support, and continues its move upwards. So very much like pivot points. Keep an eye on those for support and resistance. All right. Okay. Next, zoom on the chart. I never went over price targets for workday, did I? Zoom on the chart. So we sold off into yesterday, found some support, news overnight from OPEC. That ripped our moving averages to become stack positive. We're above the 50. I'm a little concerned we broke below the 200 SMA on the daily. However, the slingshot squeeze is looking like it's on a fire. Looking for this MACD bounce and the MACD crossover, right? If we can break out of this little flag that it's formed on the 15-minute chart and get above previous highs, I believe that we might be able to get a pretty good move out of it, right? At least up to the 200 SMA on the 15-minute chart. We would have to take out this supply zone. It's a micro supply zone, but it is still one. Remember the stair stepping of those block trades. So it's going to be a slow grind. It's not going to rip like it fell, if that makes sense. So we got a supply zone there. A break through that supply zone puts us up at test driving. I'm just going to call it the 200 SMA. There's a lot of consolidation in there. And there's a doji. We'll just call it that level right there. So there is a move, about a 75 cent or about a 60 cent move, depending on how those options play. It could be pretty decent. A little cup and handle as well. Reversion to the mean puts us up at 55. Well, just go to VWAP at 56. So targeting 56, way up here with a little bit of resistance on the way up. Okay, moving on to the next one. I hope that's not my graphics card going out. Oh, I hope I didn't miss this move on CLDX. It's got a lot of short interest. It's a high beta stock too. All right. The request was for RTX. So divergence played out here. Trading with price action, right? Still trading with price action. Looks to have a divergence appearing on the 27th. Now the request is this divergence still active and valid? We'll check it out here in a minute. I'm going to use green just to mark this chart up real quick. So we had divergence here. What that means is that price action is going one way, right? Price action selling off. The algo is buying into it, right? This is what I mean by being able to track what's going on. So that's the original level. So some of these micro divergences have played out, like the one here. Sorry, that should be over here. Right, some of those. Anyway, those have played out. We've got a current ongoing divergence. So yes, we are bullishly diverged from price action. It's fairly young. These divergences can take up to 2 weeks, 2 months. There's no set time that it takes for the divergence to play out, right? We're going to keep an eye on the algo. Has curled up at the end of the day. That's very bullish. No real block trades to speak of as far as support goes. This is I would say that this is kind of probably a longer term downtrend. That we can mark up. So definitely falling wedge. If we can maintain support there, look for a bounce and a pullback up. Let me check out the chart on RTX. I used to know it. I think they're a military contract for some reason. Oh, Exxon. Never mind. Oh, Raytheon. Yeah. Okay, so, all right. Excuse me. Technically, it looks bearish. We got negatively stacked moving averages, right? 8, 21, 34, 50, 200. It's the opposite of what we want to see. This is a longer term, like, falling wedge. Sloping H. With a stock wanting to move back to the mean, so wanting to move back to 86, right? If it can maintain its support from these previous, this previous zone right about here. Say there was a demand zone here at one point. Right, maintain that demand zone. It's going to take a lot to get through those moving averages. Now we do have a slingshot squeeze getting ready to fire off on the 15-minute. The daily, however, is increasing. So I don't know if we come back down and test 2 ATR, which would be 83.12. Right. I don't know if we have to come back and test that level. This is a little tough one. Let's see. And this is a little bit tougher one to call. 1 second here. Get a real fib level on this. It's just not helping its case out, no matter where I put that fib level. Yeah, so if it breaks this micro supply zone or demand zone that runs 83, 82 to 84, a breakdown below that, I think we come back down and test 83.02. Nothing, like, I'm not super confident in that. with the divergence being so young as well, only a couple days, it could fall a little bit further, then have that divergence start to play out. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. All right, so I wanted to look at some ones that I wanted to look at is the CLDX. It came up on my FinViz scanner for being super bullish, right? And it looks to be, it appears that way. So we've got an overall bullish uptrend with the algorithm and price action. The algo made a nice move, so you can see the algo was selling off, right? It was kind of falling. Right. It actually reversed, broke through its previous resistance, and is continuing to move to the upside. As far as CLDX goes, is it CLDX? Yeah, wrong chart. Sorry. Yeah, it's a good move overnight. Celldex Therapeutics. This is a uptrend, right? I don't know how we've missed this for a week, right? Strong bullish uptrend, just slow grinding to all-time highs. Stack positive moving averages 8, 21, 34, 50, 200, right? We have 50-day support, right? I don't know how this thing moves as far as options is concerned, but it's just going to continue to move up. It's at 54. That's a psychological level. Let's see, what did it do at 52? Let's see, 51. I typically will go back and see what levels price action interacted with that it had some issues. All right, so I'll keep an eye on it at the open. Yesterday it sold off below the 50, right? That would have been a good dip buy opportunity from 50 to 54. The previous day it sold off to the 34 and then ripped. Right, the previous day it sold off to the 34.50. So maybe we're going to look for a little pullback here, right? Pullback to 53, and then a continued move to the upside. I don't know. Keep it on your watch list. It should be an interesting stock to follow. Okay. All right. So WBA was a request. We had. All right. So I'm gonna go into GSL and PDSB. Those are the other two that came up on my little scan. Ooh, they look pretty good. All right, Walgreens Boot Alliance WBA. No divergence. Algo trading with price action. That's pretty simple to see, right? We have a regular block trade level at 50.81. Short-term target. $48.46 support. Granted, if it does need to use that support, that's a pretty big drop for a stock that only moves probably 50 cents a day. So we've got pretty significant trend line there. The algo is trading, trading with price action. When the algo gets to this level, I would look for some interactions. Yeah, so I think there's better plays out there than Walgreens. GSL, for example, is another better looking play. Right, the algo is trading with price action, so it's not like we have clear defined divergence. However, this is pretty bullish, right? Nice uptrend. Algo is making higher highs and higher lows. Price action is attempting to do the same thing. Got support there. I don't like that there's a gap that may have to be, well, that's going to have to be filled at some point here. Looking at GSL on the old chart piece. Yeah, this is another one of those good technical setups. I don't like that it's trading at 3 ATR, but it seems to trade between 1 and 2. So stack positive moving averages. We do have VWAP as support at 2186, which is the 34 or 21 EMA. So we just use a 21 EMA as support. 2134 stack, 50 on top of the 200, right? Overall trend looks good. Yesterday would have been the day, right? That's a nice $2 move going into yesterday. Pull back to support of the 21, continued move to the upside. Looking like it wants to take out new highs. Global ship leasing. So that's transports. So if transports are starting to pick up, I think that bodes well for that bodes well for 1 second here. Bodes well for the market overall. All right, so you know, all of July we sold off. The market took a dump. Yeah, so any pullback on this, I may get comments on it. Okay, that was CLDX, and then excuse me, that was GSL. I apologize. PDSB. I thought that this was going to be a better looking stock. There's no real block trades to speak of. We've got bearish divergence. Right, the algo is selling off. Looks like it's starting to bring price action with it. There's no block trade support, so I'm not really super interested in trying to pick levels for this one. But just know that this is a good one to watch just to see how the algo moves. I wish that tool would just start switching when I wanted it to. Thank you. All right, falling megaphone, falling wedge. Yeah. Not super thrilled on this one. PDSB. They always say that the third trade is going to fail, right? The last one. Look at that. Wow. 10 to 8 or 10 to 16 in, I don't know, I just keep missing these. Look at that. That's a gorgeous move. However, now we're at 3 ATR. We need a pullback. Maybe to 1350. That sounds like a good level. Yes. Look at this demand zone right here. All right. Ooh, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, that's pretty sick. I didn't know that you could do that with TrendSpotter. So you can actually point or anchor to a different angled anchor. That's pretty cool. All right, so we obviously ran into resistance at this supply zone right in here, that little area there. All right, so we're falling basically. So negative stack moving averages, 50, 34, 21, 8, right? We've got the 200 SMA down here. There's something that's stopped this before. I might need to move that up to this generalized area. Make it a little bit bigger. And that's a pretty big, that's a 50-cent demand zone. I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing how this thing reacts at the 200. We want to touch it, bounce it, break through it. 5 cents is good. Give it a week. That'll trigger about 5 times. Green alert. Okay. All right, man. I think that is it. Up skills. Yes, bite it. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got some new people. Or just some people that came through. Okay. You guys have 10 minutes, and I got to get through these. CSA. I can never spell that one. I always whiff on it. All right. Comcast. Zoom. you know me in Zoom. Baidu, yes, I like Baidu. Skittles, I always call it Skittles. I like Skittles. That I really like their business plan. Yeah, this is bearish. Yeah, possible. They just filled the gap. That's all they did. That's all they did. All right, Comcast. Obviously, that's not Comcast. All right. So see this move right here on Comcast where they gapped up and they pulled back. Very similar move here on Skills. Gap up and pull back. All right. So I'm actually in Comcast, so I'm bullish on it. I took some heat yesterday, right? Or on the first. Well, yesterday. No. 31st. Oh yeah, I did. Gapped up, pulled back, filled it. So Comcast, the trend is strong, bullish uptrend. The algo is trading with it. We're using regular block trades, 6110, 6101. That's our support. I anticipate those holding. I don't really have a price target on it. I think I'm gonna go to Utah for a couple days here soon. I think maybe I should. Yeah. Yeah. So uptrend, no real divergence to speak of. I don't know. I'm not super thrilled on it. If you're not already in it, I think you'd be chasing at this point. Zoom. I went over this in the video last night. I don't want to spend too much time on it this morning. Looking for the algo to break out of this little flag that it's formed here. This is possibly a 1, 2, 3 or an A, B, C reversal. Hopefully it gets it done today. If not, we're gonna have to cut it. It's maintaining support. 295 or 296 break, and then I like the possible gap fill move on it. Lemonade price actions trading with the algorithm currently pointed down. Just look to, you know, maintain good technical analysis on it. I'm not seeing. I don't really see any block trades to speak of on Lemonade. It hasn't really shown up on any of my scanners. It made a move yesterday in the group. Some people made some money off of this move yesterday. As far as technically it goes, I mean, it's at support. It pulled back, right? 1, 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Yeah, it could go longer. Look for the current previous low level to maintain support. If it does, then you could probably take it higher. Skills, while the algo is selling off, and it has been for, you know, quite some time, price action is trading with the algorithm overall. So the algo is selling. I didn't mean to draw that trend line, but there's one there, right? See how it broke out of its little, right? It had its own little channel going on there. So it could very well revert back to that channel. If it breaks through, we're going to get a move like we did here, right? So we're looking for that kind of move to happen here. If it rejects, then I believe Skills needs to come back down and fill, you know, that was support before, right? Ripped through it, came back, tested it for support, ripped through it again. We've got another one at 11, right? That's been support before, right? Ripped through it. I mean, I like Skills' business model, and I'd like to get some comments on it. So for me, I'd like it to come back down to earth. All right. Yeah, the algo is pointed up, so it could possibly move. Again, it's a technical. All right, look at this. This is either the beginning of a really big finger that it's going to form, or all right. So this is a parabolic pattern, right? We come up, pull back, come up, pull back, come up, pull back, and rip. Right. This is a little sell-off. We did sell off to support here. Right. That's what I'm saying. If that support holds at 12, we're kind of stacked. Like the 50s on top of the 200. We have VWAP right here. VWAP based on highest volume. Right. It could move back again. This whole move happened in pre-market, so you can't really count it. I mean, you can, but you can't. So we're looking for that move to happen here during regular market hours. We moved, so we blew right through the mean. We've got this long term, like several weeks, squeeze getting ready, slingshot getting ready to release to the upside. I believe the daily moving averages are stacked positive, so we've got about a 70% chance for it to move to the upside. We are at -3 ATR, and there's this previous resistance that we got to get through. So it's at a decision-making point, right? 1221 is pretty significant. Looks like it wants to base at 1225. Just call it that, right? Like it's got room to move back to the upside. I personally want it to come back down and test 1166, right? I've already got a buy order sitting here. Don't do what I do. None of this is advice. Do not do, don't trade. Don't do what I do. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay. But I've got a buy order sitting here to bounce off the 200 SMA, right? Why? Because it's newly formed. I mean, just because this makes sense. It's either going to do a big finger, right? Or it's going to rip. So, all right, that's it. I got to run. Thanks for joining me. Another one you guys want to check out today for sure would be Etsy. Don't sleep on Etsy. Baba's going to rip today. Okay. Etsy's just moving on up. DocuSign is another one. So Etsy, DocuSign, Roku. Like this is consolidation. Ooh, maybe not DocuSign. My bad. It's below the 200. So, all right. Thanks for joining me once again. My name is Darkpool Algo. I'm here every morning an hour before the open. Oh, crap. I was going to start adding a morning briefing to the stream. Don't let me forget to do it. Tomorrow's Friday. Okay. Two things. One, Amazon. Depending on what it does today, Amazon has a tendency to sell off on Fridays. So maybe get an overnight position on that. Two, I'm going to start incorporating some morning updates from additional news sources that I have. Don't let me forget on Monday to start sourcing that info at about 10 9 a.m. I'm on Pacific Coast time. It's messing me up. All right. But yeah, that's it. Stay safe, stay green. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments section below. And yeah, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Stay